Unfortunately, we've not heard all that much about the new Tomb Raider release recently, but that might be about to change, despite Crystal Dynamics having a heavy round of layoffs. In a LinkedIn post this week, Crystal Dynamics announced that just under 30 members of staff were made redundant across various departments and projects, following a company restructure. Crystal Dynamics in their statement thanked all of those impacted for their incredible talent, hard work and dedication, which helped shape the studio in so many ways. They also said that they are committed to offering their fullest resources and support to all them affected during this transition. However, in relation to the new Tomb Raider, there was some good news at least. They said to their players, as the realities of the industry continue to evolve, that they've made some painful choices as a way to optimise the continued development of their flagship Tomb Raider game, as well as shaping the rest of the studio to make new games for the future, the statement continued. With Crystal Dynamics still focusing on the new Tomb Raider and the Game Awards just under a month away, fans have been speculating that we might finally get to see the new Tomb Raider game in action. While there is some optimism about seeing the new Tomb Raider game at the Game Awards, there is also a great deal of skepticism, and I'm not surprised. In my opinion, well, I hope that our favourite franchise will get new games announced, but more often than not, we're usually left feeling disappointed. I think it's important not to go into the Game Awards with high expectations, because the chances are that we won't get all the announcements we hope to see, or anything close to that. That being said, if a new Tomb Raider is revealed, I'll be sure to update you when that happens. In other news, Tomb Raider fans have been left divided on what the next game's plot should be, and your opinion may depend on whether you're a fan of the classic series like myself, or the newer reboots. It's been 7 years since we last had a Tomb Raider game to play, and it feels like the wait for the next sequel is nowhere near over. Crystal Dynamics has made a few teases regarding the next game over the years, including an official first look concept at the appearance of Lara in the next game. Take from that what you will. The next Tomb Raider game will reportedly be built in the Unreal Engine 5 and is being dubbed part of the Unified Timeline by Crystal Dynamics. What this essentially means is that the developer is taking aspects from each era of the series to create a single unified continuity. How on earth is that going to work? The idea has been unpopular for some, particularly older fans like myself, who feel that the personality of the original Lara Croft that was developed under core design clashes with the later incarnations of the character as designed by Crystal Dynamics. After all, the character has a wildly different backstory and personality depending on which era you're looking at, and it could be quite messy to try and unify all of these elements. For example, such as Tomb Raider Chronicles, we can see that Lara Croft's parents are well and alive. However, during the reboot series, they are dead. This is just one of the pieces of contention that is going to have to be confronted and ironed out. And I'm sure if you think hard enough, you'll find hundreds and hundreds of other ones. One fan over on the Tomb Raider Reddit page has proposed a solution. They said, what if old classic Lara was portrayed in the unified timeline as her recounting her adventures and how she views herself, versus how she actually is? What if Lara in her old age has published her adventures in some type of memoir, and the classic Lara, who is the sassy, snark-spitting, whereas my mother Lara is who she's right herself as being? Or maybe the old games are the movie/game adaptations of Survivor Lara's numerous escapades. Another user, however, has stated they think it would be more fun to imagine the Tomb Raider games as basically like licensed games. The game developers pay right to use Lara's likeness and take some inspiration from her written articles and life's work for the stories and exotic locales. Another writes that they think this whole thing could be an interesting idea if handled right. For example, you as Lara Croft sit down and boot up Tomb Raider 2 or Legend or whatever as if the game exists in its own world. Other fans, however, were a little less keen on the idea overall, saying this idea would make the original Lara feel to be the false Lara and reboot Lara as the one true Lara. No thanks. Overall, it seems your opinion may come down to whether you're a fan of the older games or prefer the newer ones. One thing's for certain though, the new game can't come soon enough.